Hello and welcome to this review of my leading edge DC-2014. I bought this one a while ago off of eBay. It wasn't cheap, but it wasn't too expensive for a DC-2014, partly because the cable had been cut off. However, I recognized that it was very, very clean, about 9 out of 10 I'd say, and after a soft clean it feels as good as new, so I think it was a decent buy. Besides, I've wanted to cover one of these for ages. These are generally quite expensive because they're both the most well-known and the most common source of Blue Alps, so they're heavily contested. Also, it's one of the most reliable sources. To my knowledge, none have ever been reported so far with anything other than Blue Alps, and with many Blue Alps keyboards, this is often not the case. For example, the Gold Badge OmniKey, Focus 2002 and ACKB 101A, could also come with White Alps, the Monterey K104 with White Alps or SMK 2nd Gen switches, the NTC 6151 with White Alps, Alps clones or Amber Omron B3GS, and the Ciccone 5161 with White or Green Alps, Amber Omrons, SMK 2nd Gen, Cherry MX Blue, Taiwan White and Black Axis switches, and Mitsumi Miniature Mechanical, and so forth and so on. In other words, most other Blue Alps boards are a bit of a switch lottery. That said, the board platform itself has quite a few strong points as well. It weighs 1.4 kilos, same as a Dell 8101, and even though it's not built as overly well as a Northgate OmniKey or the Datacom Flak Panzer, it's still got excellent build quality with a very thick plastic case that weighs 634 grams just on its own, which is fairly remarkable, a thick metal mounting plate, brass screw sockets, and no reliance on clips of any kind to hold the case together. Impressive. It's also one of the few vintage Alps boards that come with N-key rollover, and for Blue Alps boards this is rarer still. The Northgate OmniKey has N-key rollover, but not the Blue Alps models, and neither do any of the Focus models. Another nice feather in its cap. A really weird feature is the funky feet it comes with. It's these curious sideways facing flip-out stalks. They work fine, albeit that they're rather stiff, and they're even spring-loaded. The original Sumitomo cable was as much as 6 mm thick, and although I've replaced it with a USB cable, which is much thinner, I've kept some of the original cable as a sleeve choke and reused the anchor block to try and preserve some of its originality. Note that it's not compatible with a commercial Saurus converter, as even though it works through the easily convertible XT protocol, it uses the normally unused 5th reset pin, but I got a converter chip for it from Aurealcon's webshop, which I mounted on the inside like this. One of the advantages of having a roomy plastic case. Another advantage of having a roomy plastic case is that it really brings out the sound of Alps switches, and this being Blue Alps, that means it sounds absolutely finger-licking amazing. Honestly, this has to be one of the best sounding Alps chassis I've heard to date. It's spectacular. It was also made by Alps themselves, and as such it comes with Alps' standard double-shot keycaps, surely a factor in its great sound. Very nice looking caps these, and they're not so overly thick that they attenuate the sound too much. Just right. I suspect it was made by the Korean branch of Alps, actually a joint venture called Gold Star Alps, as it was made for, and internally bears branding of, Daewoo, and both Gold Star and Daewoo are Korean. However, I can't be sure, and it lacks the usual K suffix that Gold Star Alps keyboards have, so maybe I'm just imagining things. Either way, Daewoo contracted Alps to make these keyboards for them, and Daewoo in turn supplied the computer systems to Leading Edge, who sold it in the West as the Model D computer named after Daewoo. The computer was a big hit and received rave reviews. Compared to other IBM-compatible home computers, it was both well-made as well as significantly cheaper, putting them head and shoulders above the competition. Like many Alps-based keyboards, contemporary reviews also praised the quality of the keyboard. Even back in the 80s, when standards were extremely high, much higher than nowadays, these boards held up well. The Model D was the company's second computer. I reviewed the Mitsubishi-made Model M that they produced before that previously too, although that keyboard is completely different in almost every way and also much, much rarer. It uses a really cool type of inductive key switch. Check out its review if you're interested. Unfortunately, the business didn't last. Despite the success of the Model D computer, they ran into financial troubles, and when they couldn't pay their suppliers to get up more computers, leading-edge dealers sued when Ellie couldn't deliver more computers, putting them out of business. All in all, the company lasted less than 10 years. I'll admit that at first I thought this was going to be just another Blue Alps board before I got it, but I'm genuinely very impressed. The build quality is great, and the feel and especially sound are just superb, and nice double shots too. I really enjoyed my time with this board, and I'm sure I'll love getting back to it when I do the Blue Alps shootout video I've got planned for some point in the future, where I match up a bunch of the most well-known Blue Alps keyboards head to head to determine which is the best sounding one. It also shows a bit why its bigger and more modern brother, the DC-2014, is one of the most sought-after Alps keyboards in existence. This one comes with a 101 key straight ANSI layout, which is kind of the gold standard of layouts, I guess, but is very rare on Blue Alps keyboards. One of the very few alternatives is the Acer KB101A, and that one comes with thin silk-screened caps and arguably slightly worse looks and build quality. Although I haven't tried it myself, I suspect it might be quite a spectacular piece of kit if it has the same build quality and sound quality of the DC-2014. Similarly for its uglier brother, the DC-2214. Anyway, I'm gonna bring this to an end because I just want to do some fucking typing on this thing. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.